Okay, from Annapolis, Maryland, this is Dying Fetus!
What's up, everyone? I'm Aiden Martin. Today, we're here for the Dying Fetus Retrospective. Now, to start off with, of course, normally we don't with demos, since admittedly with most death metal or black metal bands, they do tend to sound like the first album. Hell, they even have some of the same songs. And they would basically sound like them but shittier, but I think it's worth it. Not just because they're my favorite band. And of course, with the original lineup, we have Nick Spilios, not John Gallagher, on vocals and guitar. John Gallagher was actually originally the guitarist, but after releasing the demo Bathe in Entrails, it led to John taking his place, and also Jason Netherton on bass. And of course, I definitely do prefer this version of Grotesque and Paleman and Terry Inside the Loop, those two songs. So, of course, this of course, and of course their, as well as their other early stuff, does get some pretty divisive reviews from people. Of course, some people seem to like them, whereas others seem to say they sucked. Whereas their later stuff was better. Whereas, personally, I'm with the former. And of course, with the songs especially being Blunt Force Trauma and Raped on the Altar and Nocturnal Crucifixion. Now, with the second album, this is when Kevin Talley started to join in. But, yeah. Definitely my favorite songs off this album would be Procreate the Malformed, Absolute Defiance, and of course, Kill Your Mother, Rape Your Dog that everyone loves. I mean, why not? Alright, now with Destroy Your Opposition, technically this is considered an album, rather than an EP or a compilation. But yeah, pretty much the year after this album came out, of course, all the members of the band, except for John, decided to leave to go for Misery Index. Of course, which Jason has been fronting ever since. And around this time, they, at the time, recently signed in to Relapse Records, which the band's been signed to since then. But yeah, this songs from this album I really like would be the title track and also Pissing in the Mainstream and also Epidemic of Hate and also Born in Sodom. So, with Stop at Nothing, this being the first album with their current bassist, Sean Beasley, on, well, bass, and also, of course, Eric Sayanga on drums and on backing vocals, Vince Matthews. But yeah, the songs from this album I like would be, of course, Abandon All Hope, and also One Shot, One Kill, and also onslaught of malice and schematics. So, of course, War of Attrition, which has my favorite song. Of course, by them being my favorite Dying Fetus song of all, Homicidal Retribution. And of course, surely after this album, that's when Trey Williams came in and replaced Eric Sayenga, and since then they've gone back to being a three-piece. And also, I definitely do like Fate of the Condemned and Unadulterated Hatred, which are two fantastic ones. Now, for my second favorite album with my Dying Fetus album, with my second favorite song by them, the album that introduced me to Dying Fetus, and that made me a fan of them, especially with their song Your Treachery Will Die With You, and being the first album they made after becoming a three-piece band again. But of course, there's also Shepherd's Commandment, and also At What Expense and Atrocious by Nature. So, being their most popular album they've released to date, though a lot of people seem to consider it their best one, but personally, I don't really think so. But don't get me wrong, I still love this. I still really like this album. Especially the songs in the trenches, subjected to a beating, and also Second Skin, which recently was featured in one of the new South Park episodes called Banned in China. And of course from Womb to Waste. And finally, their latest album they made. The wrong one to fuck with. Though hopefully very soon in the future they'll release a new one that'll be just as good as this. And as you can tell so far, pretty much all of the albums they've made, even this one, has at least some songs that I like. There's not been a single album they made that does have a song in there that I like. But of course, let's see, there's a title track, but also Reveling in the Abyss, and Fixated on Devastation. And of course, and throughout their discography, as common with brutal death metal or proto slam death bands, to become even more technical over time. But still, nevertheless, this one I definitely do recommend. And so, that was the Dying Fetus retrospective. And again, like I said, pretty much just, not just because they're my favorite band, not necessarily being biased, but period, not a single album, it seems they have made, doesn't really have any songs on there that I don't like. Which is pretty, and so because of it, it's very easy to see why they're my favorite band and why they have a certain place in my heart. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and subscribe to these guys down below, and also, and to my channel. Thank you all for watching.